This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Heat wave. Warnings across Nova Scotia prompt people and businesses to find ways to keep cool. Failing remedy. A new report says Nova Scotia is falling behind on 5-year disability care overhaul. And trash fix. CBRM hires 8 new workers to curb rising garbage complaints.
The heat warning continues again on Friday. Temperatures into the 30s, humidex values pushing 40 for some. Your full forecast is coming up.
Good evening. As Nova Scotia swelters through a major heat wave, locals and tourists alike are packing beaches and waterfronts to soak in the sun. But with extreme temperatures setting in, some local businesses are being forced to adapt to keep their workers safe. The CBC's Colin North has more.
It's not an ideal temperature when you work in a kitchen during a heat wave.
My service, they have to go out and in, and they walk a lot. And I don't want them to collapse.
Margaret Wexler owns the Salmon River Country Inn in Jador Harbor. She says despite the heat, servers want to continue to work because they need the money. So she's closing the restaurant kitchen from 3 to 5 p.m. for the foreseeable future. This way, they can cool off and get ready for the dinner rush.
So it's more to be kind to the staff who is working here. And to myself too.
If a spot with air conditioning isn't available, people are flocking to the beaches. And the fact that there's a heat warning doesn't seem to keep people from enjoying outside.
I'm feeling good. It's beautiful outside. The water is perfect temperature. Like this summer, it's been like cold. So it feels like summer.
I didn't realize that many people have a weekday off, but it's everybody, this is the place to come, right?
Rainbow Haven Beach was filled to the brim this week, with the gates having to close for 20 minutes several times throughout the day due to a lack of available parking. The Halifax waterfront is also full, with tourists enjoying the boardwalk. And they, too, don't seem to mind the heat.
And where I come from, New York, this week it's going to be all rainy and stormy, so I'd rather the heat than that.
I love it. I love the heat. We pay a lot of money to go find this in January, so I'm very happy to have it while we've got it.
The heat wave is expected to continue until Friday, and the people who've been outside the most have important advice to get through it.
If you're sensitive to the heat, stay inside and air condition if possible. Keep your pets inside. Stay hydrated. Make sure you have your sunscreen on, and stay protected because it can get nasty fast.
Be careful. There's lots of birds and they will poop on you.
Colin North, CBC News, Halifax.
Oh, it's hot out there, that's for sure. Ryan Snoddon with us now from the CBC Weather Center.
Yeah, I wish we were at the beach, Tom, but here we are in at least an air-conditioned studio, and it is very uncomfortable for those who do not have air conditioning as the heat warning continues for tonight. Nighttime temps are just as important as the daytime temps with a heat warning because it doesn't allow us to cool down at night, and this is one of those heat waves that's not allowing us to cool down at night or during the day. As you can see, we're back for tomorrow. Widespread temperatures that are going to be in the high 20s, low 30s. And for the weekend, for Saturday, you can see we're still going to be seeing plenty of spots that are at least flirting with 30 degrees. The valley up towards the Halifax area as well, I think will be very close to 30 again on Saturday. And then for Sunday, cooling down, but the mugginess is going to remain in place. And you can see Saturday and Sunday have got scattered showers and storms in effect for, or at least in the forecast for most of the province. And that is because there's going to be so much available moisture here, lots of instability in the atmosphere, and those showers and thunderstorms that do track through on the weekend have a really good shot of bringing some heavier downpours. So if you're going to be out and about, make sure you're staying alert, watching the skies. Note the humidity is dropping off as we work our way into early and especially mid next week, Tom. But boy, hot walk before we get there.
That is for sure. Okay, Ryan, details to come. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
An independent monitor released an assessment of Nova Scotia's human rights remedy. The 5-year plan is to overhaul support for people with disabilities in this province. The monitor says it found, quote, a troubling lack of traction and a lack of sufficient progress.
The Disability Rights Coalition feels strongly that one day more that a person has to live in an institution where their rights are actually not being met is one day too long. So the 5-year implementation timeline, while it seems, it's ambitious, it's so imperative to get this right, and also to make sure that people are able to live their lives in community.
The minister in charge of the plan was asked if she would act on the 15 recommendations made by the monitor. Here's what she had to say.
There are recommendations. So I need to have the opportunity with the team and with the broad community of stakeholders to test some of these assumptions.
The minister says the monitor is one important perspective, but says there are others she needs to take into account. There are less than 2 years remaining in the 5-year implementation timeline. The province plans to ban children under 14 from riding electric scooters and bikes this fall. Public Works Minister Fred Tilley says the age restriction is part of a slate of changes that will be made to the province's Traffic Safety Act.
It's the speed that they can actually travel. They can go up to 30, 32 kilometers an hour and more. So you start to get into a different level of conveyance than a traditional bicycle or cycle.
And this applies to e-bikes. Last year, the Canadian Institute of Health Information noted e-scooters injuries were on the rise. Numbers indicate there were 498 hospitalizations in 2023-2024, a 32% increase. Amid mounting complaints, 8 more garbage workers are being hired for the Cape Breton Regional Municipality. Council approved the hiring on Wednesday with a cost of $700,000. Ethan Hunt has that story.
Piling up. Both garbage and complaints. Public grievances over a lack of service have doubled this year in CBRM. It comes on the heels of the municipality taking over the service. But now Public Works Director John Phelan thinks he has the solution, hiring more workers.
We're glad that we've been able to move forward with our forces, and I think we're going to be able to really improve our service a lot better.
Phelan says they haven't been able to cover the entire CBRM with their 18 staff members, and the complaints are a result of growing pains. He says 8 more workers will give them a buffer for when people are sick or on vacation. The cost of CBRM for the additional help is $700,000. The director proposed this motion last week, but he was deferred because it put their budget more than $600,000 over what they projected.
We realize that that's a big issue for council and for the residents.
This week, Phelan showed council they are well on their way to overspending that budget just by paying overtime, and only 4 councillors objected. He says they will make up the money in the budget by using profits from their operation. Councillor Steve Gillespie says he got on board because he wants a quick solution to their garbage woes, and he trusts Public Works employees.
This is not something that we can go back to what we were doing before. Back to what we were doing before didn't work. So I felt the best thing to do was to trust staff and move forward.
Phelan says HR has 6 people ready to hire, and they will be trained within the next few days. Ethan Hunt, CBC News, Sydney.
More than 180 homes and businesses on Big and Little Tancook Islands will be getting new high-speed internet service. It's part of the Internet for Nova Scotia initiative project, which involves laying nearly 6 kilometers of submarine fiber optic cable along the ocean floor. Cabling supplies and equipment are being taken this week by barge from Halifax Harbour to a staging area in Blandford, where work will start on the installation. The province expects the project to be completed in the fall. There are new details about a large fine recently paid by the Atlantic Lottery Corporation. They show it was over a player's transaction of less than $500 and a number of administrative violations. The CBC's Caitlin Beliveau reports.
New details about a $200,000 fine recently paid by the Atlantic Lottery Corporation show it was over a player's transaction of less than $500. The Atlantic Lottery Corporation operates online and in-person casinos, a racetrack, and lotteries in Atlantic Canada. It has an obligation to report suspicious transactions where it's reasonable to suspect a player is attempting to launder money. Earlier this month, a federal agency which acts as a financial watchdog found Atlantic Lottery committed 3 administrative violations. They included failing to report a suspicious transaction related to commission or attempt to commission of money laundering or terrorist activity financing, failing to apply up-to-date written policies and procedures, and failing to assess the risk of money laundering or terrorist activity. Atlantic Lottery was fined $212,000 as a result.
I think the fines are high because they want reporting entity to have the systems in place to comply and to fight money laundering. And then also they want to make sure that there's no failures in those systems. And if there's a failure that, there's accountability for it.
A spokesperson for the corporation shared more details about what actually prompted the violations. The statement said the findings involved one instance of transactions totaling less than $500 and found no suspicious activity, but it believes Atlantic Lottery should have flagged that transaction to comply with reporting rules.
I think by publishing these fines on their website, it shows the reporting entities that it's important for them to have a system in place to make sure they are able to report these transactions and comply to their anti-money laundering legislation. But also it's important for the public to see that, FinTrack is enforcing those rules and that it's taking money laundering seriously here in Canada.
In a statement shared July 10th, Atlantic Lottery made it clear that the findings did not include any allegations of money laundering, terrorist financing, criminal activity, or willful misconduct by the corporation or its players. It said the fine was paid in full and that it would not have been in the best interest of Atlantic Canadians to divert funds that would otherwise be returned to provincial shareholders to dispute the fine in a legal appeal. The watchdog told CBC News it can't share information about who the player was or more about the transaction, like how or where it took place. And Atlantic Lottery did not elaborate on that either.
A new poll from the Ecology Action Centre found nearly 80% of respondents oppose the provincial government allowing private developments like golf courses and hotels in legally protected areas. Nearly 60% were completely opposed, while only 4% were completely in support.
But still, it seems like the government hasn't gotten the message if they're talking about being open to development proposals for any of our provincial parks and protected areas. So we hope that this time the government listens and they put this issue to bed once and for all.
The centre decided to conduct the poll after Cabot Golf tried for the 3rd time to develop a golf course near West Mabou Beach Provincial Park last fall. The Federal Fisheries Department is worried the U.S. government is about to adopt legislation jeopardizing the survival of the North Atlantic right whale. That's according to an internal memo sent to senior officials in the department in May and released to the Canadian press through an access to information request. The memo discusses a bill to delay new protections for the critically endangered whale until 2035. The note says the delay may mean the United States misses the window to implement adequate measures to ensure the species recovers. The Canadian Wildlife Federation says the move would have significant impacts for the whales and possible consequences for Canadian fish harvesters, who may have to do more to protect the species.
Straddling both of our waters, this can't be done alone, and both the U.S. and Canada have been doing quite a lot for this whale in the last 10 years in particular. And news that the U.S. might be pulling back or lessening some of these actions is very concerning. It means a lot more work for us to make sure this animal doesn't go extinct.
There are fewer than 400 North Atlantic right whales left in the world. And check out this rare visitor to Halifax Harbor. U.S. New Jersey is a Virginia-class Block 4 nuclear-powered attack submarine. The sub arrived Wednesday, escorted through the harbor to the CFB Shearwater Jetty in Eastern Passage. There you go. Fitting summer, isn't it? And Ryan back with us now. Yeah, the word of the day has got to be hot. This heat wave really cooking along.
It really is. Back in the 30-degree range for today for many, and back there again tomorrow. As I mentioned earlier in the program, we're going to be at least flirting with 30 on Saturday. Temps overall a degree or two cooler, but the mugginess is going to remain in place through Saturday and Sunday, which will bring the risk for showers and storms and downpours with that tropical moisture in place. So lots to talk about. Let's first and foremost have a look at our time lapse, because this is the place to be, is the beach. And as we look at the Nova Scotia webcam shot, what a sunrise at Lockport Crescent Beach in Shelburne County. And yeah, you know what? Even from, I believe, the first beachgoers there around 8, 9 a.m., setting up shop as you should. And then, yeah, good few many people enjoying that beach on the beautiful South Shore. Not as busy as Rainbow Haven.
I'll bet not, no. But inviting. Oh, wow, that's so nice.
Absolutely inviting. And you know what? Lots of room on the beach right now at Lockport as well. Thank you so much, Nova Scotia webcams, for allowing us to take a look across the province as they do here on the show. As we look at the temperatures out there right now, 27 Lockport and Shelburne County, 30 at Kedgie, 30 at Greenwood, 30 Kentville, 31 Halifax, downtown and the airport, 23 in Sydney. Nice little sea breeze coming in there. Sydney and Ganesh. With an onshore flow that has had temperatures cooling off a little bit. And you can see the mugginess, though, still in place all across the province, and 36, 37. The dew points right now around 17, 18, 19, so it's feeling pretty sticky. We've got the wind from the southwest today, providing a little bit of relief for the mainland, and as we said, a little bit of an onshore flow right now for places like Sydney. As we back things out, there's the frontal boundary, which is ahead of it, starting to see some showers and thunderstorms developing in this instability, and that unstable air mass is going to be working its way in for us as we move into especially Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures out west look just 16. Edmonton and Calgary right now, 20 in Regina, 26 in Winnipeg. The east is where it is at. Hotspot today was Miramichi, New Brunswick, 36 degrees actual temperature before we factor in the humidity. As we look at the temperatures for tonight, we're going to be ranging between 16 and 19 for most. A little cooler, Sydney and across Cape Breton, 14, 15, 16 degrees for you folks. And walking you through the timeline, we'll see some fog patches developing. Otherwise, it's just smooth sailing through tonight and into tomorrow with lots of sunshine, those early fog patches mixing out. And then into the afternoon, note some of this activity developing over New Brunswick and a slight risk extending into Nova Scotia for Friday evening. It looks like a less than 30% chance, but the risk is certainly there. Keeping an eye on things for Friday evening. Temperatures across Cape Breton tomorrow ranging between 25 and 28 for most. I think the Marguerite is likely going to be our hot spot tomorrow. We'll likely see some temps in and around 30 here. So I do think we still do get to 30 on the island. 32 Antigonish and widespread 30s here through central parts of Nova Scotia. Again, feeling more like 35 to 39 or 40 when we factor in the humidity here. Into the west, and again, even along the coastline, it's with this westerly flow going to be very hot. 30 near the coastline even tomorrow. Tri-County area, Yarmouth, Digby, Shelburne counties facing the Gulf. Better chance that we'll see some sea breezes coming in, keeping things a little bit cooler. There's Saturday. Cloud cover, I think, a little sluggish to start with so much moisture in the air. Fog patches, and then some sun and cloud into the afternoon. As that sun and cloud develops, scattered showers and thunderstorms, and the risk does extend even towards the Atlantic coastline. Greatest chances are going to be towards the inland areas and the Northumberland shore, but we're keeping our eye on the sky with those shower and thunderstorms. As I said, the risk for heavy downpours with this is going to be high, given there's going to be a lot of moisture at play in the atmosphere with so much mugginess, and you can see high 20s, low 30s. Still feeling mid 30s with the humidex, if not a little bit stickier than that. Excuse me, there's Sunday. Scattered shower and thunderstorm chances really from start to finish on Sunday with this unstable air mass that's going to be in place. But I do think we'll see some sunshine both days as we walk you through that weekend muggy meter. Staying truly tropical, bit of a drop into next week. Looks like maybe a further drop towards the mid to late stages of next week. But yeah, the summer What else can you say, Tom? Hot, hazy, humid. We're right here through the summer stretch for sure.
Yeah, full on summer for sure. Okay, Ryan, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Well, PEI's wild blueberry industry is using new federal funding to hire a scientist to help them expand. They say the challenges of fluctuating prices and climate change make the added research even more important. The CBC's Nancy Russell reports.
White berries, so
PEI's wild blueberry industry has some new support. They're using new federal funding to hire a full-time agronomist dedicated to their commodity.
One thing we heard from our growers, for the most part, through our strategic planning process, was that they can use a lot more help with the nutrient management side of their business. So things like interpreting their soil tests, interpreting what nutrients they need and where, evaluating and building soil health and building these strategies to improve yields in farm.
Rimsha Khan started as the industry's new senior research agronomist in mid-July. She has worked in the wild blueberry industry in Nova Scotia and most recently for the PEI Federation of Agriculture.
I'm currently doing PhD in the soil science, so I love soil and soil health. So agronomist, as a new role as an agronomist, this would be the perfect position for me because I have to deal with the crop, I have to deal with the soil.
Her previous job involved agriculture and climate change, and that's something she will be looking at for wild blueberries as well.
Less weeds, less disease attack from prior years, and also we can improve the crop productivity in a sustainable way where by improving their soil health.
There are about 125 wild blueberry growers on PEI. Last year's harvest was about 20 million pounds, which they say is good considering last summer's lack of rainfall.
We were very lucky last year that we still got an average crop, but it's something that, we are at the mercy of every year. So we really, more than ever, have to put that effort into keeping a healthy soil.
Pino says the funding will also help the association to look at the potential for grower cooperatives, a provincial strategy for pollination, and new markets.
If you want to sell into Australia or China or Japan, they have certain standards to meet. So in this case, our agronomist is going to be working with the growers to help meet those standards.
Khan says it's a busy time for wild blueberry growers who are getting ready for the harvest, which will start around mid-August. She says she looks forward to meeting with them after that wraps up. Nancy Russell, CBC News, Piskid.
Coming up, a report says the province is making too little progress in ensuring people with disabilities have enough supports. The Human Rights Remedy is a court-ordered demand that within 5 years, Nova Scotia must end systemic discrimination against people with disabilities by closing outdated institutions and ensuring people have individualized community-based supports. An independent monitor's report warns that in year 3 of the remedy, there is too little progress being made to meet the April 2028 deadline. Stephanie Carver is with the Disability Rights Coalition of Nova Scotia with us now. Ms. Carver, this is a massive undertaking that the province is involved with here. For those who are maybe not intimately involved, can we explain that there is a timeline of requirements as such that have to get done, and that is what the monitor is looking at here?
Yes, that's right. So when the remedy itself was written in response to the human rights complaint and the human rights finding of discrimination, the experts who wrote the remedy set out a 5-year timeline, which admittedly it was very ambitious, but their experience led them to say that rolling out the remedy in 5 years in that time frame, it was really important to do it quickly.
Okay, and so this report or the monitor rather, and this report is following all of this as it moves along. This report does seem to paint a picture of the government saying on the one hand, hey, it's making significant progress, but the monitor suggesting otherwise, that it's in fact troubling how things have slowed down. What's your take on that?
Yeah, so in the legal order, every year of the remedy, there are certain targets that the province needs to meet. And certainly the province has made great progress. The Disability Rights Coalition certainly acknowledges and praises the senior staff of the Disability Support Program for the progress that has been made. But there certainly were targets in year 3 that were not met, which does set us behind in that 5-year timeline.
Okay, without going into the whole list, what kinds of things are we talking about here?
So if I were to kind of choose kind of a top 4 list of concerns that we would have, those would include, and if you want to have more information on them, you can ask me about them. So they would be certainly the notion of something that's called the Remedy Roundtable, which is the response to the complaint and the finding really being against all of government, not just one department, but all of government. And so the Remedy Roundtable is the place where all of government takes responsibility and embeds the spirit and the policies that need to happen in all departments of the government. A second concern of ours has to do with the hiring in one of the targets in the remedy that was set out. There was a certain kind of number of people and specialists who needed to be hired in order to support people leaving institutions and finding their rightful place in community. So those hiring targets have not been met yet. We would also say just a couple of other things have to do with the wait list. And the wait list is that historically in the old system, people with disabilities, when they applied for their rightful entitlement to supports, were placed on wait lists to wait for years before they got support. So one of the main things is to eliminate that wait list. And so we still haven't resolved all of that and what the wait list looks like in the new system. And I think that then the final piece that we will be working with the government on, the province on, is eligibility. And so who with disabilities is eligible for support and how is that eligibility communicated to people who are applying for supports?
The report also calls for more transparency as well. How troubling is that?
Yeah, so I will preface my answer by saying we really appreciate that the senior civil servants who are working on implementing the remedy are extremely open to working together and collaborating with the Disability Rights Coalition on a number of things. I think part of the transparency piece has to do with, as we said, inevitably there will be road bumps along the road and hurdles as the implementation rolls out. And I think that what would be helpful for all Nova Scotians, not just for people with disabilities or with the Disability Rights Coalition, it would be really helpful to understand, here's what the hurdles were in this period of time, and here's what our plan is to shift, overcome those hurdles, and to make up the time that was lost. I think that's really what we're looking for.
Okay, and just finally, we don't want to presuppose anything, but the report points out that this province has the highest proportion of people aged 15 and over with disabilities in the country, 38% of the population. That's more than 300,000 people. Is it realistic to get this to this remedy or get it in place by 2028, do you think?
I'm not the person implementing it. Thankfully, we're the people who are watching it being implemented. I think it's important to note that Nova Scotia actually is last in the country to deinstitutionalize. This process that we're going through has happened across the country already. So we were behind to begin with. The Disability Rights Coalition feels strongly that one day more that a person has to live in an institution where their rights are actually not being met is one day too long. So the 5-year implementation timeline, while it seems, it's ambitious, it's so imperative to get this right. And also to make sure that people are able to live their lives in community.
And on that note, we will leave things. Stephanie Carver, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Coming up, trade talks between the U.S. and Canada continue in Washington ahead of Trump's tariffs going into effect. And Toronto police announced 2 people have been arrested after gunshots were fired at the U.S. consulate last week. Welcome back. The top trade negotiators for Canada and the U.S. have met in Washington. It comes as a deadline draws closer to new tariffs threatened by U.S. President Donald Trump, and while Canada tries to renew its trade agreement with the U.S. and Mexico. Kate McKenna is following the latest developments.
This is the main event of U.S.-Canada Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc's trip to Washington. He had a 90-minute meeting with his American counterpart, U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. Negotiations are in full swing ahead of an August 19th deadline for a new set of punishing tariffs on a bucket of Canadian exports ranging from cement to hockey sticks.
Protecting our jobs.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says he wants any future agreement to cover all sectors affected by tariffs, including steel, aluminum, auto, and lumber.
With respect to a deal, we're interested in a more comprehensive deal, more global deal that addresses the strategic sectors.
But whether there's any deal in sight is unclear. This week, both Mark Carney and Donald Trump have traded jabs, with Carney mocking Trump on Wednesday when his teleprompter broke.
Unlike a certain world leader, I do not view this as a conspiracy.
During his speech in Las Vegas, Trump was more direct.
Canada's nasty. They are. They're nasty. People think Canada, they're nasty. I love the people, but they're nasty. Nasty leadership.
Carney conceded talks have been tough.
Whatever adjective is used, yes, we're standing up for Canadian workers, for Canadian businesses, as we always have from the start.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says Canada has already made concessions and gotten no deal in return.
We're calling on him to take the leverage that he has not yet squandered, take it to the bargaining table, and get something in return for a change.
Mark Carney said again today that he is personally involved in negotiations and that he's spoken with Donald Trump as recently as last week. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
Iran says it is closing in on a deal that could result in the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, but it's not the one U.S. President Donald Trump is hoping for.
We were all set for the biggest attack since World War II, and they called me and they said, please don't do it, let's talk. And then they said, we never said that. You know what? The fake news knows they did say that, but we are talking. Let's see what happens.
Iran has been in talks with Oman over the key shipping route, which has been effectively closed since the start of the war in February. Meanwhile, Iran denies any talks with the U.S., despite Trump claiming this week that his own deal on the Strait of Hormuz could happen soon. The shooting last week at the U.S. consulate in Toronto was another case of gun for hire. Police say they've arrested a 19-year-old and a 15-year-old. In March, a similar incident occurred at the consulate. Thomas Daigle reports on what police say is happening.
Police say inside that stolen white sedan last week were a 15-year-old and a 19-year-old carrying out an early morning drive-by shooting at Toronto's U.S. consulate. Watch closely, and it appears someone in the passenger seat fires at least 2 rounds before the suspects lead officers on a high-speed chase.
It's high time we stop the revolving door of young people and young adults being engaged in this kind of brazen activity.
Police say the pair now face a total of 32 charges. Investigators say both accused were recruited through encrypted messaging apps. Just like the suspects linked to another shooting at the consulate in March, plus a string of attacks on local Jewish institutions, and this alleged murder plot targeting a jail officer.
Shootings, homicides, arsons are all being ordered through online apps, and they're all getting paid different, or offered to get paid different compensation for each.
What's more, police previously said attackers are required to record their crimes to get paid.
What can you say about whether this guns for hire scheme is still active right now?
We have multiple investigations trying to determine each level of these schemes. We have not arrested everybody that's been involved with this.
Just who's paying and their motive remain a focus of the investigation. In May, U.S. authorities extradited an Iraqi militant leader linked to Iran, suspected of ordering attacks, including the March consulate shooting in Toronto.
It's imperative that our national security agencies get to the root of the problem.
Police say dozens of individuals have shown they're willing to take on these contracts for shootings and arsons. Crucially, though, investigators say they're still working to identify who's ordering all these attacks. Thomas Daigle, CBC News, Toronto.
A new warning from the head of the World Health Organization about the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
It's moving really, really fast. And I can't hide it from you, my feelings. Maybe expressing my feelings properly would be better. I'm deeply, deeply concerned by how the situation is on the ground.
Officials say the virus, which has spread to 5 provinces, has caused more than 1,700 deaths. But the true scale of the epidemic could be much larger because infection cases have emerged outside of known chains of transmission. The WHO chief says the outbreak could still be contained if the authorities move faster than the virus. Italy has placed all major cities from north to south on the highest heat alert. As the country swelters under its 4th heat wave this summer, officials say prolonged high temperatures are posing a serious health risk to the entire population. Megan Williams has the latest from Tuscany.
Well, you can feel it the moment you step outside here in Tuscany. The heat is intense and there is very little relief, even as the sun goes down. Italy is now in its 4th heat wave of the summer. For the first time this year, all 27 Italian cities monitored by the Ministry of Health are under the highest level red alert. Temperatures are pushing towards 40 degrees Celsius these days, and a red alert means the risk is not just limited to elderly people or people with medical conditions, but to everyone. Even the Vatican has had to adapt. It's moved the Pope's weekly audience indoors rather than leaving thousands of pilgrims and tourists waiting in the hot sun in St. Peter's Square. In Florence, the city has opened 53 climate shelters. They include libraries, neighborhood offices, even public parks where people can cool down and where they're offered cool water to drink. Across Tuscany, prolonged outdoor work in agriculture, construction, and quarries is banned between 12:30 and 4. That's when the heat risk is considered particularly dangerous. Authorities are also telling people in general to avoid the sun between 11 in the morning and 6 at night, to drink plenty of water, but also to avoid alcohol and eating heavy meals. The heat has already been linked to 4 deaths in Italy, and it is worsening the drought, damaging crops, accelerating grape ripening. Forecasters say there may be no meaningful relief here for at least another week. Megan Williams, CBC News, Tuscany.
International crews continue to arrive in British Columbia to help battle wildfires. More than 100 are burning in parts of the province. About half are deemed out of control. A new fire in Metro Vancouver has triggered evacuation alerts for 36 properties in the village of Anmore. Helicopters have been dumping buckets of water on the flames to prevent them from spreading. The largest wildfire in the province, burning near Clinton, has destroyed about 120 structures. In central Okanagan, fresh evacuation orders have been issued for 24 properties. And further north, near Vernon, officials say fire has destroyed more than 200 properties. Hot, dry weather conditions continue to increase the wildfire risk. Smoke from the wildfires has spread over much of southern BC, prompting air quality warnings. Mark Carney says he's lost confidence in FIFA's president. The Prime Minister joining growing criticism of Gianni Infantino over a plan to bring private investment into the World Cup. Evan Dyer breaks down the controversy and Carney's blunt message.
Certainly I don't have confidence in Mr. Infantino after this point. Given what transpired and given the nature of what transpired.
Mark Carney's condemnation of FIFA head Gianni Infantino was frank, but he's not the only one to lose trust in world soccer's top official.
This is your peace prize.
Infantino has made waves from the start for his relationship with Donald Trump, giving the president FIFA's inaugural Peace Prize, getting involved in Trump's Board of Peace. And fans worldwide were outraged when FIFA allowed a U.S. player to compete despite a red card ban. For many, the final straw came last week when Infantino announced he'd been working on a plan to sell off a 20% stake in the World Cup's commercial business. The potential buyer, a firm run by Jared Kushner's brother.
The idea that proper governance is not to disclose to your closest advisors, your chief operating officer, your fellow board members, something of consequence that you're even considering, let alone proposing, that that's fatal.
I was in disbelief that that this single person would be able to do some of the things that he was supposedly doing behind everyone's back.
Infantino spent the day in emergency meetings in Morocco. FIFA's board says it still backs him, but Canada Soccer and CONCACAF, North America's soccer federation, both questioned his leadership, as has the all-important European Federation, UEFA.
When so many knives are out for you, there's no hiding place.
If Infantino falls, one of the front-runners to replace him is Canadian Victor Montagliani.
Done a very good job in his role at CONCACAF, but again, I'll defer to governance.
Mark Carney is the only leader of a 2026 World Cup host nation to speak out against Infantino. It's still not clear if President Trump will weigh in to defend the man who worked so hard to win his favor. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Ottawa.
Celine Dion fans have a shot at winning the big prize of seeing her perform live in Paris. Lotto Quebec is selling limited edition lottery tickets for a round-trip travel package to Dion's concert next month. Sarah Levitt now with the details and the excitement for Dion's big return to the stage.
She captivated the world with her performance on the Eiffel Tower at the 2024 Paris Olympics opening ceremony. And in just over a month, Celine Dion will be back on stage in Paris.
So this is the ticket, you have to scratch your numbers.
Now, Lotto Quebec is capitalizing on the hype, selling a lottery scratch card, offering Quebecers the chance to win a trip to Paris and, of course, tickets to Dion's show.
We see that people, they love so much Celine Dion that this is, of course, their reaction to another chance to get to see her.
Her Paris residency is a long-awaited comeback. In 2022, she was diagnosed with stiff person's syndrome. It causes muscle spasms, including of the vocal cords. It was unclear she would perform again, but she was persistent, saying in a CBC News exclusive,
"Well, I'll sing again. I'll sing again."
It's like a success story. We never thought we'd see Celine back on stage ever again. I was not lucky at all. I didn't have my tickets, but I would like to go.
Dion is playing just 16 shows this fall, then 10 more in May. That means getting tickets hasn't been easy or cheap. They initially cost between 89 and 500 euros, but sold out immediately. Resale tickets average about 2,000 euros. France's Consumer Protection Bureau has opened an investigation into ticket sales around fluctuating and surging pricing on certain platforms.
And it was similar with Taylor Swift, though there were more tickets available for her because she was touring the world. But, tickets were going for thousands and thousands of dollars. And, Celine Dion, she's still one of a kind, right? It's just a huge deal.
With Lotto Quebec's initiative, 2 pairs of lucky Quebecers will get to be there to take it all in. Sarah Levitt, CBC News, Montreal.
All right, you can bet people were loving the beach today. I bet you a few other people were heading for shade someplace because it was pretty darn hot and still is.
And another hot one again tomorrow. So that's, again, stay cool, stay hydrated any way you can. One of the things I'll be watching tomorrow is the Halifax downtown area. Very rare to get 3 straight days hitting 30 degrees. Last time we did it was 2013. We've only done it 5 times all the way back to the 1940s.
Oh, really?
To get 3 in a row hitting 30 is pretty rare. So tomorrow, pretty good shot at it. So we'll keep you posted on that. Many 30s for sure tomorrow, as we will see. Have a look first at our viewer picture of the day, and we're going to zoom in on Little Brook, St. Mary's Bay, and have a look at this sunset shot.
That's peaceful, isn't it? That's summer right there. Beautiful.
Richard, thank you so much for sharing that. Ryan's picks at cbc.ca. Heat warnings continue for tomorrow. And yes, it is all across the province. And I do think we will get that 30-degree temp in Halifax, and 32 Kentville, 33 Bridgewater. Could even see some 34s on the board tomorrow for places like beautiful Kedgie Park towards Cape Breton. A bit of an onshore wind from the southeast tomorrow, so I think the Marguerite is likely the best shot at getting a 30-degree temp for tomorrow, just inland from Inverness County. And as you can see on Saturday, temps a little bit cooler, but we will be looking at the humidity, very sticky again. Widespread scattered shower and thunderstorm chances for Saturday, and then again on Sunday. And yeah, the Muggy Meteor is getting a heavy workout this week, as it should, though. Look at those temps, dew point temps, that is, on the right-hand side of the scale. So anything that's above 20, that's really feeling oppressive. We're pretty much at that mark right through the next few days. And that 7-day forecast showing that even as we work into next week, summer trudges on, but some relief, I think, from the humidity.
Summer for sure. Okay, Ryan, thanks so much for that. In animal news now, move over Moodeng. There is a new baby pygmy hippo in town. After nearly 15 hours of labor, Mother Kindia delivered a healthy baby calf at the Toronto Zoo. Officials continue to monitor the pair via cameras, but say they appear to be bonding.
Pygmy hippos are an endangered species. They face depleting numbers due to habitat loss. Nice
there you go.
See that.
We'll leave things on that high note. That's it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.